Mama said that if someone puts ugliness into the world, you can't be ugly back. You got to put a little bit of sunshine into the world. Welcome to the Recap Book Chat. We are a mother and daughter duo
conversing about books over a cup of joe.
Seeking truth to help us glow.
Ready, set, let's grow!
Thank you so much for stopping by today. We are switching things up a little bit just to kind of help people get a little prepared for a holiday that is just around the corner. And
Mother's
that holiday,
Day.
yes,
Yeah. Oh,
Mother's
sorry.
Day.
I jumped the gun. Yeah, I'm just
Mother's
pretty.
Day. So
Yeah.
kick us off. What are we doing for Mother's Day?
Well, what we thought, I kind of threw this out there to you. Why don't we get books that the titles start with each letter of the word mother and make an acrostic? So you may think, man, it's too early in the morning for an acrostic, but it came together really easy. And most of them we've read, a couple we haven't, but just to give a wide variety, and then we'll have some honorable mentions we can throw in at the end. And then after the mother's acrostic, which was, by the way, very fun to do. I'd been in a bookstore, but I was just at home. And then we'll find some literary moms that were gems and kind of recap them. It should go pretty quickly, but I'm excited. I'm thrilled. Excited.
So get out your notepad to take notes because these would be great gifts if your mom's a reader or if she wants to be a reader. These would be some great mom gift book ideas.
And if you're driving or walking, you can go to the website, the recap website. I'll link that at the bottom and I'll have it all written out too. Because sometimes I'm always in the car.
That's true.
There we go. First one is one that my daughter-in-law, Julie, got me and in Oregon, and it's a beautiful copy of Middlemarch. And I haven't read it. I'm kind of excited to read it, and so it's like that, kind of like I put it up there for my eyes are on the prize, but I'm excited.
Anticipation then is good,
Yes.
right?
And it's a big one, but I've heard nothing but good, and this is what this one guy said. I thought this was good. Well, George Eliot, first of all, is a girl, Mary Ann Evans, which I didn't know, and she is an aphorist. And I didn't know what an aphorist was, so I had to look it up. But an aphorist writes in aphorisms, which are pithy observations containing general truths. And this was one that this guy quoted. And, I love words, so I think I'm just going to love it. So thanks to Julie, I'm excited. We are all born in moral stupidity. And I said, I think I like her already. I just think I like her.
And it has cool pages. Like just the feel of it. It has those cool, bumpy, I don't know what pages.
It's 1830s England. So I feel like that's why I got you a copy. I thought you'd like it because you like Englandish stuff. And it talks about the different classes of people. But this reviewer said he loved sitting with the characters. She does such a beautiful job, and her side characters are funny, which I do like. I mean, I think he's showing you how when you see George, but she's showing you how your choices in life affect, it has consequences and everything, but the side characters are there for comedy. But he said you genuinely like their company. And I said, oh, but he wouldn't tell how it ended. So I don't know the ending, but if your mom loves to read Middlemarch, and then we just finished March, which is also an end. But
yeah, not to be confusing.
Yeah. No, what's
totally different book.
Yeah, totally. So there's a beautiful book called 1,000 Gifts, and it is, I had all these books out, and then I was trying to clean off the table, and I put them all up. But by Anne Voskamp. And I don't have to say too much because I think I've mentioned her before, but basically she talks about finding joy in the little things. And she's had a tragedy in their life. There's a tragedy, but just that there is joy in that. But this is it's hard for us to find joy when we have problems. David Livingstone, right? You've heard of him, right? The missionary. Well, it says that he went through all this stuff. I mean, he had a sleepless night, injuries, blah, blah, blah. Everything had happened to him. And at the end, after having malaria, dysentery, lion attack, you know what he said? "I never made a sacrifice." And I thought, "Wow," because he
Very
felt it
humble.
was a privilege to serve God. It was a privilege. And that's kind of where Anne Voskamp, she is. It's just she's wanting you to focus on life in the moment. I just still remember she's washing dishes and a bubble goes up and she just she's like, "Oh, that bubble is it," just in the little moments.
So, is this a true story or is this a
Yeah,
fictional
this
story?
this one, I think we have a good mix here, but, this one would be true, like hers is, and she talks a lot about the Eucharist, which is not you don't hear that word a whole lot, it's not that familiar, but if you get into it, it is, 'cause I said at first, "Well, this is Greek to me." And because I read this when I was teaching, so I'm just busy, busy, busy. It slow down. 1,000 gifts, and I think now her family does this all the time. Like they're writing 1,000. They had the death of a family member, and that's what sparked all this. But I've actually heard her on a podcast, and she's really precious, precious. So, and I'll let
Good,
you do T because
good pick.
T you've read. You know what T is?
No,
Theo of Golden.
Theo of Golden. That's right. Theo of Golden by what was his name?
Alan Levy.
Alan Levy. So good. I mean, can you think of anyone who would not benefit from reading that book? Because I
Well,
can't. I think, sometimes books are kind of geared towards one group of people or another, but I really feel like Theo of Golden would benefit everybody. It's a phenomenal book. It feels like it was written a long time ago because the pacing, like, he's not in a rush, and you don't feel that, "Oh, I gotta hurry and get through this." You enjoy it so much. I mean, you want Theo to be you wanna meet him in real life. The guy is amazing, and he's and there's a lot of mystery. You don't know a lot about him, but he's wealthy, and he goes to this little town, and he finds these drawings of people in this coffee shop of the community members, and he's enamored with them, and he gets an idea to buy these drawings and then gift them to the person that they were drawn of. And through that, there's so many stories and connections, and the way that that opens people up, where he learns about their lives and then starts helping them anonymously, and he changes the town. And it's just beautiful to get to have a back seat in that and see it, and it makes you really think about the importance of connection and community and how one person can affect a lot of change if we take time to slow down and really see the people who are around us and listen to people and validate people. And it's one of those books that you leave and you want to do better, you feel so good, but you wanna do better, and there's some things that happen that don't make you feel good, but just the whole story is beautiful, and I love where the messaging behind it, which is basically connection. Connect with people, that we're needed that, we're made for that, and, yeah, great pick. I highly recommend Theo of Golden. So,
Yeah, put a bow on it. Get it. I mean, no matter I mean, you could get mom more than one book, but definitely I think Theo of Golden should be on the list. And, the next one I've wanted you to read for years, but you have not read is Hannah Coulter. And once you read Wendell Berry, he's he's more like a poet. And it kinda is like Theo of Golden as far as, like, slowing down, and I still remember her cleaning up after Thanksgiving dinner, and she said that was her favorite part, was the women working together, which just carries on that theme of Theo of Golden as community and how important it is, and this is during, it starts during World War II, and it is, man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story and a very short one. So if your mom's not, she doesn't want something thick like Middlemarch, you could go with Hannah Coulter. And that would be, I like the way that one reviewer said to sit with those characters, to genuinely like, I would love to have a cup of tea with Hannah Coulter. It would be, whoa, I would knock it out the park because she has a lot. She had a lot. Like she was a young bride. And I don't think we think about what the women gave up in World War II. The men did give up a lot, but she got married, and then he left, and they were together very little time, and then he goes missing. I mean, it is, and then she finds out she's with child, and all this. But she doesn't have any family, but his family, man, they are so good. You fall in love with his family. So God took care of her in a way she probably didn't think would happen. Anyway, it was a blessing. It's a blessing. Yeah, the one I'm currently reading, and you're currently reading, by Jane Austen, Emma. So just
Emma.
tell us a little bit. I was like, what? I haven't had enough coffee today. More coffee, more coffee.
Well, I really like Jane Austen. I like the time period. I like the style. I like, again, that it is a slow down read. And it's interesting, this character, Emma, because I feel like a lot of her other characters are maybe more middle class or not well to do. Like some of her main characters. I'm thinking like Pride and Prejudice and stuff. And they're aspiring to the higher lifestyle. But with Emma, we kind of start there. She's an only child, and oh no, she has a sister.
Isabel.
That's right. She has an older sister who's out of the house, but she's not in want of anything.
She's been pampered.
Pampered, good word. Very pampered. And so so this book is a little bit different, and it's exploring that, when you have everything, when you're given everything, and there's idleness there, what is going to come out of that? So not some good things. There's a lot of meddling that goes on, and it's funny. And she gets herself into trouble trying to meddle.
She does.
But
she has a good heart.
She does have a good heart. And then we get to see kind of like what's really important. And so it's a good read, especially if you like Jane Austen or that type of literature.
You know what I think would be a good gift is to get either Middlemarch or Emma and get some different kind of tea and maybe a teacup or something. Wouldn't that be a cute little package? Because they
Yeah,
do a lot of tea drinking. Emma's always, it's time for tea, and so that's just a thought.
That's a great idea. Make your own gift basket. Make your own. Yeah, lovely.
Wouldn't that be cute?
Yeah, all about the tea. Yeah, you can't read Jane Austen without tea.
Yeah.
It's a necessity.
Yeah, I'm just like, and you and I watched that funny movie where the girl was a Jane Austen fan and Jane Austen appeared to her, which was so hilarious.
Yeah.
But I didn't make that, that's a great analogy that Emma is well off, whereas in Pride and Prejudice, it's a little different. Yeah. So that's maybe why this one is more whimsical and more, because money is off the table, Yeah. And the last one I picked was, you're going to have to tell us about it, Rebecca, and I can't say the author's name, but it's a classic.
Dumar or?
Yeah, I think that may be it.
Do something.
I'll type it out, but.
So I read this one decades ago, and I loved it, and it's one that it's on our list to read again, and I'm excited. It's coming in I think we're going to try to October. It's going to be one of our October reads. So
I'm pumped.
Yeah,
thanks for the copy of that. I'm excited. You did your Mother's Day shopping early, so you gave me about 10 books, so I'm good. And a painting, so wow.
Yeah. It was actually made into a Hitchcock movie, if that gives you any idea of the genre. So it's going to be a suspenseful read. But it
says on the cover, it says the classic tale of romantic suspense. And then it has this thing say best novel of the century. I mean, so I can't believe I haven't read it.
It's very intriguing. It will keep your attention. And what I don't like, not about this book, but what I don't like is like horror or gore or anything like that. But what I do like suspense. And I feel like Alfred Hitchcock was great at that, like being suspenseful without being graphic. And I feel like this book it goes into that. And there's a lot of suspense and mystery, and it keeps you on your toes, but you're not going to have bad dreams, basically.
And that's
what
I'm
right
there with you. I'm right there with you. I don't like the gore, but because you know why? I think gore is easy, but what Daphne, this Rebecca book, that sounds intriguing, and that takes skill.
It
That takes
does.
more skill. Anybody can make gore. Anybody. I mean, that's where you get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because gore. And for some sad reason, I guess since Noah, violence has been something people are drawn to. But whereas intrigue could actually help you to solve problems in your own life. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for the book. I had some honorable mentions. This was A Girl Called Samson. I thought any mother that liked it is historical fiction, but it's also true. There was a girl named Deborah Sampson who fought in the Revolutionary War. So I
And
got
Amy
this.
Harmon, we like her.
We
She's
love
good.
Amy Harmon,
Yeah.
yeah. And then these don't fit the deal. They don't fit the mother thing, but I had to
The
throw these in.
acrostic poem, but
Yeah,
they're still good.
this
Yeah.
actually could. Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. If your
So
mom
good.
hasn't read that one, I know it's an older one, but hey, you never know. And this is Nature of Fragile Things. Great one.
Again, that's another mystery. There's
Yeah, very
some
good.
intrigue. Yeah.
And then for those that haven't read I have to, Emma M. Lyon, I have to throw her in, the Unsolicited Journals of Emma M. Lyon. Now, you got me all of these, and I finished them. I love it. But I have a dear friend, and she said she has her newsletter, and she's like working on all the way to 14. I finished with volume 8, but they're beautiful. The colors are just, and they look beautiful on a shelf.
They are
Beautiful.
very pretty. Wait a minute. So that's a series? And you read it? And you liked it? So is there anything you wanna recant on air about series?
I guess you said you were gonna prove me wrong, and I guess you did. I loved it,
Okay.
and so and for, this one, The Awe of God,
We're in the middle of
uh,
that. Yeah.
yes, by John, but I don't know how you say Bevere, Bevere or whatever, and last one for me is The Next Conversation by Jefferson
Mm.
Fisher. Oh my goodness. It is that every family should have a copy of this. I'm telling you, if you listen to the audio, he has the cutest delivery, and he
He
calls
does.
his mom mama. And he's even said, if you want to get your mom, he had a little commercial on his podcast saying he advertised getting his mama some pajamas. Mama, I got my mama these pajamas. But he tells you how to have those difficult conversations in the very pithy way. I think he and George Eliot would probably have gotten along rather well. But
Well,
now,
and he also has a podcast, and we found out about him on Facebook because he started doing these really short reels, and they were great advice. And that's where I first heard about him. But he also has a podcast, and he has a book. I'm listening to the audio
do you love it?
because of your recommendation. Yes, and I do love it. There's so much good information. Everyone can benefit from communicating better. We don't communicate as well as we used to. We
Mhm.
don't take the time, and we don't understand how it really works. We're really isolated a lot of times, and so I think it'll improve pretty much every relationship you have by
And we
listening
were
to
going
this.
to do that when that book when you finish, but I had an idea, because in the book he says you can't do all of these at once. That's overwhelming. So I thought when we do a podcast on that, we could just do one a week, or I mean one, just kind of spread it
Like
out like
mini
we did.
bites.
Yes, and
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a great idea.
he would like that better, because he said take one, and when you get where you can do that one, then add another one to it. And I think if we delivered it like that, I think people might really appreciate it.
Yeah, it'd make us more accountable too
Yeah,
to
it would.
to
To
try to walk
practice.
out each one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
So tell us about some mothers in literature.
Well, first off, thank you for putting that together. Great job on your acrostic poem plus bonus. I think you have given a great list, and I'm excited for people to know what to get their moms.
Yeah, I think the moms will thank you. And yeah, just throw in a box of tea. Or if they're not a tea drinker, coffee.
Well, I'm going to go off of one that I saw that you pulled first was The Nature of Fragile Things by Susan Messenger. Is it
Mesner.
Mesner? Okay, thank you. So
Or
that
maybe it's
one,
Meisner. I think it's Meisner. Yeah.
Meisner. Okay. Sorry, Susan, but we love your book. So this is about a mail order bride, and her name is Sophie, and she is an Irish immigrant. And again, you don't know a lot of it feels like she's running away from something. You don't know what for a long time. But it's very interesting because this is in the early, and she's again, a mail order bride. It's crazy to think about that, that someone said, "Hey, I want you to be." He's a widower. He has a 5-year-old daughter. She's going across the country to marry a stranger and be a stepmom. And I put her on here because she is a great stepmom. As far as like, I was trying to go through and pull out some moms from books we read.
Mhm.
She and the stepdaughter's name is Kat, and she's 5 years old. And the way that Sophie is a mom to her is great because, again, this little girl has gone through a lot, and her
Mhm.
dad's not who you think he is. There's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Suspense. It's very
Suspense,
suspense and intrigue. Yeah.
and historical fiction because
Yeah,
this is
it
San
hits a lot of
Francisco.
them.
But that was I thought Sophie from The Nature of Fragile Things is a great
Great.
mother
I can't
mother
believe
figure.
we kinda crossed paths there.
Yeah. This one wasn't mentioned a lot in the book, but in The God Smuggler by Brother Andrew, his mama gave him a Bible. He gave him her Bible. So
Mm,
before he leaves to go to join the military, she gives that to him. And at this time, he's just a ruffian. And there's really, it seems like there's no hope of him reading it. He's always tried to get out of going to church and all this stuff. But I thought, what a good model of planting a seed. So
mhm.
she did the best she could. And then she gave him her Bible, and he doesn't read it for a long time until he gets injured, and then
Mm.
but I just thought, what a cool thing of just, she's not in the book a lot, but ends up Brother Andrew becomes the God smuggler.
Because of
He is
her.
because
Yeah.
of her. He's smuggling, I don't know, thousands and thousands of hundreds of thousands. I don't know how many Bibles he actually smuggles into countries where it's illegal. And to think that it started from her giving him her Bible, I thought
That
that was
does
really cool.
show don't diminish what you can do, just do it, and trust God to do the rest. You plant that
Mhm.
seed and just go ahead and see what, because God, although he's never surprised, boy, he can surprise us. I mean, for sure. I'm sure she was really surprised.
Well, we were talking before the podcast about doing what's in your hand, kind of like playing the cards you're dealt, what's in your hand. And that's what we see. And we see that in scripture with Moses even. I was telling the boys the other day, isn't it interesting when God meets Moses and is, telling him what he wants him to do, and Moses is like, "No, I can't do that," and everything. But he's like, "What's in your hand?" And it was a shepherd's staff.
Mhm.
Why? Because he was a shepherd. God can use whatever is in your hand. And he told him to throw it down. It became a snake, pick it up. And that was to help show Pharaoh God's power. But the fact that I thought it was cool that it's just a shepherd's staff because it's a tool of his trade. It's what he's in his hand. And God will do the same thing with us. What's in our hand? And
Mhm.
it's all gonna be different. Everybody has different tools in our hand.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
different
sometimes.
seasons in your life, your tools will change. That's why flexible, we've got to learn to listen to God because he may turn that shepherd stick could be could be an actual shepherd stick because he was shepherding the people, but it can be a snake. It can be different things. And yeah, Moses, what a deal. Yeah, he's such a great character of faith because I think I love that he's very humble, I would say. He's one of the humble people. There's not very many that scream humility. Jesus, of course, but I mean, he does. He's like, "I can't do that. I can't." But he did.
He did. So why don't you talk about this one because we just finished it, but Marmee. What do you think of her as a mom? We in March, and that was the book we just finished.
Marmee is yeah, I like this difference of, in Little Women, the focus is on the daughters, but in March, it's on the father. So, and there did you know there are actually books about her, focus
Oh,
on her?
no, I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, and people liked them, but I liked that her, character was more rounded out. And I saw, I think you mentioned it on the podcast about that, where she was condemning Mr. March, which I don't know his name, but for not telling them the truth, that he was sick and all that. But then when she was gonna write home about it to the girls, she didn't wanna tell them that. So, she kinda could see, but she's dealing with jealousy, she's dealing with, she wanted to have tears of joy that she found her husband, then she finds another woman in the picture and, but she still dumped the soup on the nurse's head. I mean, she's a little bit of a spitfire. And I do think she lived, of course, I think that's why I like the classics. There's no technology at all, other than a pen and writing paper. I guess that's technology. Yep. A pencil is technology, but it's a slower time, but you see these people that are deep characters, and she lived deeply. She was not a surface person, not shallow. And I really, yeah, I think she's a great choice. Good choice.
Yeah. She's really keeps the family together. I don't know if the family would be together without her. I think she's a good mom. Another one was, and this was a true story that we did, and we did it a while back. There's a book called Here Be Dragons, and it was by Melanie Shankle, and she's the narrator, and she wrote the book. So, and it was inspired by real life. But what is so cool is that, like, she did not have an easy childhood. So the book is really about breaking those generational trauma, and so I just really respect her for that and trying and being intentional about her daughter having a different upbringing than she had. And I have some quotes from her. She said, "We can't parent perfectly, but we can parent faithfully. Our
Mm.
kids our kids become who we allow them to be." And so kind of the messaging is that intentionality breaks dysfunction cycles, and it's, through faith and prayer and really owning our hard choices. And we see that come out. So I had to put her in there as a real life mom, to
Mm.
kinda celebrate and highlight that it's and that's can be a tough read. It's not one that I necessarily wanna read again, but I'm glad that I read it. It's one of those.
It was really good for me because I was thinking there's other people out there that the mom is the dragon. And, because none of my friends had that. All my friends were, so it, but some people would think would think that would be a hard read for me, but I found a friend. I found an
You felt
amigo.
validated.
Yeah, I was like, "Wow," "She gets it, she gets it," So, yeah, I loved it, and she does it very well, and she also goes into her daughter having dragons. I think it was maybe G.K. Chesterton or C.S. Lewis, but one of them said, "We don't need to shield kids from fairy tales because there are dragons. The kids know there are dragons. The fairy tales tell them they can be conquered. They can be slain." I think we talked about that, how at one time those grim fairy tales were grim. They were very grim. And then Disney kind of whitewashed them all and took away that, and Tolkien didn't like that. I mean, he's like,
No,
he does not like Disney at all, the Disney version of things, because it is just like, I think
watered down.
yeah, and in a school where they used to have to read these hard books.
Moving on, I want you to talk about this one because I know you just finished it, and it's one that we probably would not put in the mother category again, but an Anne of Green Gables. You gotta look at Marilla Cuthbert. I mean,
Mm.
as a mother figure, it's not even her biological child, but man, does she step up to the plate. So, what do you think of Marilla as a mother in literature?
I think, yeah, and I love that we just were talking about play the hand you're dealt. And so Matthew Cuthbert, her brother, goes to get a boy from an orphan's home and comes back with this little fireball of a redheaded girl. And Marilla steps up, man. She steps up. And if that in that first book, I mean, and that's another series that I've read all of them and I loved them. So I have to retract. I'll print a retraction. But yeah, she is tough. Marilla is tough. I think that you remember the phrase, If God brings you to it, he'll get you through it." That's
Mhm.
what happened to Marilla. Anne is like the opposite of everything of Marilla. Marilla is very reserved, very, you know, she doesn't, I would say, embrace life. She just goes one, and then Anne just comes in and it is. But another thing I did notice, this is a side note on Marilla, when Anne does some mistakes, some of them are a result of something Marilla did. Like, she puts the wrong thing in the cake because Marilla's vanilla bottle broke, so she put the vanilla in another bottle, and so she got them mixed up. And Marilla will say, "Well, that's partly my fault," and everything. But she's hard on Anne, but Anne and her, that's a good bond. You're thinking outside the box. I love that. Yeah. And Marilla and Anne, I think they come together in a beautiful way. Yeah, it gave me chill bumps just when you said it. I just love that the innocence of those older stories is really beautiful.
Yeah, and you really just see, and like you said, I think we can learn a lot from Marilla because things are gonna come in our life that are unexpected, and you see Marilla grow and change into more of a motherly role, and that would be hard when she wasn't expecting that and hadn't really had experience in that, and she does. Yeah, the bond between Anne and Marilla is just beautiful. So, that was one. Quarryman's bride, Mrs. McLaughlin, that's another good one, and she's kind of a side character. A lot of things, she has a lot of issues that happen in her life and problems, but again, that's another good one, Quarryman's Bride. Mama Ain't Happy, again, this is a nonfiction by Rachel Norman. Just as a real life mom, for me, she helped me understand the importance of cleaning out our emotional basement. It really tied in with soul care as far as instead of a basement, he says it's a suitcase. We have a suitcase and we need to clean out the dirty clothes from the suitcase so we can have the clean clothes in, so we can have joy, peace, and all those things in there. And she kind of started me on that conversation and thinking that way. And some quotes from her: simplifying makes life less stressful. So that was a really good one. She ended up having cancer, and that's what made her slow down and made her realize that what she was doing wasn't sustainable. And really, to be a good mom, you kind of have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself so that you can show up fully. So you do need to do some work of cleaning out those emotional basements, stuff like that. Spending time with God, receiving from God so that you can pour out. And she does a great job of getting that. And then I'll end on this one. No, I got two more. I forgot about this is such a good one. Okay, I'll let you talk about her. Martha Ballard from the book Frozen River. I mean, she's a
Man.
midwife in Maine in 1789. What do you think of her as a mom?
Wow, man. I forgot about Martha. Well, whoa. She is one tough cookie, and that's a true story, I believe. I
It
think they're
is, yeah.
really yeah. I think, yeah, I listened to this, girl on, YouTube to get book suggestions, and she loved Martha Ballard. That's how we got Frozen River was Gloria reads, whatever. Well, she recently read one, The Midwife or something, she said, "This is not Martha Ballard." That's what she was so disappointed in
I
everything.
mean, the bar's set too high with Martha to read another midwife book.
And even she read another by that author, and it was not very good. So I just think she knocked it out of the park with Martha Ballard, and she is so giving, so caring, man, and yet structured, like, I think she's the reason why I wanted to go back to journaling every day because she journals every single day, and the author had read her actual journals, and they were very structured, and she's lost children to disease, but she shows up, and I think that's what you can learn from her, and she's very brave. She knows she knows the difference between right and wrong, which I think a lot of us do, but then comes the bravery where you choose the right thing every time. And that is what Martha, man, she is like gutsy. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Good pull. Good pull.
Well,
Pull
I
her
would
out of there.
yeah, add that to your list of potential books to get a mom because, again, this was such an interesting because it's true, but there's mystery involved. There's a murder, and she's a midwife, and she, in real life, delivered over 1,000 babies and never lost a mother in childbirth. She's an amazing midwife, but she gets pulled into this murder investigation because in the 1700s, there's not like a lot of law going around. Again, they're kind of having to figure stuff out on their own. And because she is, I think, structured, like you said, she gets pulled into this murder investigation. But I love the fact that too that she always makes sure her kids like they always because they have to make candles, they have to do all this, and the way that she pours into her own kids on top of delivering babies and this murder investigation is just like she made it into the mom hall of fame there.
And it is a
So
beautiful relationship between her and her husband, too.
yes,
Very, no, there's no dysfunction there. I mean, it is beautiful, yeah, that you can do what she does, and that he gets her new journals and all that. I thought
And
that was
ink,
beautiful.
when it was hard to get, we don't think about that.
He might be in the father of the year. We might do
Yeah,
one of
or
them for
husband.
father, yeah,
Yeah,
because he was really great.
he was good
Okay,
too.
what's your
Okay,
last
last
one?
one. Okay, I'm gonna end on this one because this is good. This is the one we did, with my boys, "Some Kind of Courage,"
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember that.
by Dan is it I'm gonna mess up his name.
Yeah,
Gimme Heart or
just
Gimme
call
Heart?
him Dan the man.
Yeah. So and again, this is interesting because the whole story is about Joseph Johnson, who's a 12-year-old orphan, and he's in the 1890s, and so the story is following him, so you think, "Where does the mother come into play?"
Mhm.
Well, so they're dead and gone through his parents and his sister when this story starts. But through the process, he keeps remembering what his mom said. And as
Mm.
he's going through and finding these obstacles, what his parents said, not just his mom, but his dad too, but what they said and what they taught him. You talked about earlier, what are you listening to? Or how did
Your
you put it?
playlist
Your
matters.
playlist matters, and what's playing in his head matters, and it changes the outcome. You see, he usually comes
Mm.
up where he could go one way or another, and then he'll this playlist of what his mom said or his dad, and then it will guide him in the right way, and he ends up at a
Mm.
much better place than he would have, even though he's an orphan. And so here's the
Mm.
last quote to end on from the book, Some Kind of Courage. Mama said that if someone puts ugliness into the world, you can't be ugly back. You got to put a little bit of sunshine into the world.
Mm. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, that is a great place to end on. Put some sunshine in the world, and put some sunshine in your mom's world, and get her a book.
That's true. And put some and I think we need to be mindful of the playlist we're creating for our children too. If you have
Mhm.
children in your home, that matters. What we say matters and it becomes their playlist. So, I definitely want to be like the mom in Some Kind of Courage and have those
Well,
that a good playlist.
you pulled out some gems here, and I just thought, this time of the year, school's fixing to wrap up. Mothers aren't the only one who could use a good book. Kids could use a good book to celebrate the end of the school year, to start their summer, get a couple of but and
Maybe we
that
should
would
do
be
that. That's another podcast we should do.
yeah, but even Some Kind of Courage, they could read together.
Mm,
That would be a
yeah.
twofer, as we would
Yeah.
say.
And that is a wrap on our Mother's Day podcast.
This is a special podcast, as are our listeners. Each one of you are special, and know that we just appreciate you so much. We hope that you, as Kate alluded to, that you take time to take care of yourself during this busy season, because there is a I love that simplifying makes life less stressful. That is so true. And let's just embrace the joy of slowing down. And we hope that this has been a blessing to you as you've blessed us. And let's connect.
To reflect.
We'll catch you on the next one.